In the first such bailout of its kind since the coronavirus pandemic began, the German government has reportedly agreed to a $10 billion bailout plan for its flagship carrier Lufthansa. Reports said that the agreed deal will be a three-stage model involving a total of $9.88 billion, including a $3.5 billion loan from the state-owned KfW Bank. In addition, the government will take a direct stake of 20% in Lufthansa and a convertible bond worth 5%. The German government will also gain 2 seats on the company's supervisory board, and around 90% of Lufthansa's regular flights have been grounded for several weeks amid the pandemic, resulting in losses worth millions of dollars an hour. Around 700 of Lufthansa's 760 aircraft are currently parked at airports, and more than 80,000 of its 130,000 staff are on part-time work schemes. In April, the group was carrying fewer than 3,000 passengers daily, compared with the pre-pandemic average of around 350,000 a day. Germany's support for one of Europe's top airlines has come at a time when airlines across the globe are going through severe economic crisis, as coronavirus lockdowns have brought air travel to a near halt in most nations. If plans go ahead, it would be the first time that the government has held a stake in Lufthansa Group since 1997. The coronavirus hit airlines across the world are planning massive restructuring exercises, including laying off staff, reducing flying routes and selling assets, including airplanes. India, on the other hand, has announced that it is opening domestic aviation from the 25th of May. But in India, some airlines that have been opened and bookings have been criticized for high airfares. Our London Bureau Chief, Mandy Clark, is bringing us more on this story. Good afternoon to you, Mandy. German government reportedly agreeing to a $10 billion bailout plan for Lufthansa.
It's an incredible help for Lufthansa, and certainly British Airways is going to be looking at with a jealous eye. They had put forward a plea to the government here to do something very similar. They had called for bailouts, but the government so far has rejected rescuing the aviation industry at all, and they have not provided any specific aviation help. Although the furlough scheme is, they have made use of that. Of course, that's going to end in August. So British Airways will once again look to Germany and ask the government to reconsider. They have said they are in a very serious situation. They've already stopped all flights out of Gatwick, which is one of 2 of their main London hubs. And they said they, as a company, they might not be able to continue if the aviation industry continues as it is.
Right. And when are they expecting to open flight bookings and therefore restarting with their work?
Well, there are some flight bookings that are continuing, but the government has put in this new policy which might also affect flights to Greece. There are sporadic flights around the country, but the government wants a 2-week quarantine for anyone who returns to the UK. Now, that means that anyone who comes back from an international flight will have to self-isolate. The industry says that is a death nail. If that policy does go in place, and it is due to go in place at June, then simply people will choose not to travel by airline. They will have do their vacationing this year in the UK. That is something the UK government really wants, because they are not getting their international holiday makers either. So they want a lifting of this future ban that's due to come in a couple weeks' time, and also help to really get those international flights going. But the other issue is, of course, other international countries also have these 2-week quarantines, and it just makes people nervous to fly.
Right. And Mandy, lastly, this is the first such rescue package. We do expect to see more of the same from other countries. You have touched on, obviously, the UK and Greece. Have you heard anything more from the rest of Europe in terms of their carriers?
Well, certainly all carriers, national carriers are hurting very badly, because they had this forced period where they simply couldn't fly, and that apparently is terrible for the airplane itself. They need to continue to fly, so we can expect other requests for for European countries to follow suit, like Air France, and all of these major carriers are in trouble. So whether people take their leave from Germany or not is yet to be seen, but they will certainly be all looking for a similar Germany bailout.
Mandy, thank you for that report. That's our London Bureau Chief, Mandy Clark, bringing us the latest on the big bailout for Lufthansa by Germany. Now, protesters in the U.S. laid dozens of body bags in front of the White House to denounce President Donald Trump's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Trump has come under fire for downplaying the outbreak initially and for his slow response throughout the months of January and February. As a result, the virus has claimed more lives in the U.S. than anywhere else. Protesters were seen laying roses on empty body bags at the mock funeral procession. Take a look at these powerful visuals. Body bags lined on the floor with the White House clearly visible in the backdrop.
Different states are already thinking about reopening, and we haven't even, mourned as a country all the people who have already lost their lives. And so I think here what we're doing is we're creating a space. We are acknowledging, we're recognizing all these people who are victims of this virus and really victims of the inaction of the president.
200 cars also joined the procession in Washington, D.C. Drivers honked in unison to register their protest against the U.S. president. They also had signs on their car windows that read, "Trump lies, people die." These demonstrations come at a time when Americans are deeply divided over the president's decision to reopen America.
Anna, are you talking?